What's up, guys? Eric Bray, Focus Fishing Guide Service, Table Rock Fishing Intel. Got another fishing report for Table Rock. It is Tuesday, April, I think 26th. I don't know, 25, 26, 27, somewhere in there. Been on the water pretty much every day except for, I think, Sunday when we got the heavy rains. That was the only day I missed. Bites changing, fish are moving, things are starting to take shape. We're starting to see spring. Despite the fact we had a frost warning this morning, we are starting to see a little bit of spring activity. As far as our lake level, we're at 916 point, I think right around 0.3. Haven't checked it since this morning, so it may come up, come down. Corps got 4 units running, so they're trying to drop it out. Get all the water out of here, get all the water out of Beaver, get all the water out of Bull Shoals. So a lot of current running through the lake right now. Water temperature starting today at 57. Here on the, down here by the dam, just pulled off, it was 59. Went up Long Creek a little ways, found some 62, 63, where the water's got a little more color to it. And fish are moving. There are fish on beds all over the lake. Not a lot of them locked on, but there are definitely fish on beds. I would say by this weekend, by the time the OMTT rolls around, and I think the Tyson's this weekend too, sight fishing is definitely going to be a pattern to watch out for. But, you know, best way to stay on top of it, best way to know what's going on, become a pro member, Table Rock Fishing Intel. You get those daily reports, weekly reports. I think we've had 4 or 5 daily reports in the last couple of days. So a lot of reports coming your way right now. A lot of guys fishing, getting us some good intel to share with you if you are a pro member. If you're coming down, though, going to fish the lower end of the lake where I am today, pretty much everything we caught today was on a swim bait. Everything was on a Kitech 2.8, on a 1/4 ounce head. Everything's on gravel. Nothing really on gravel mixed with rock anymore. Everything was on gravel. If you could find shad, you could catch multiple fish on a location. If you didn't find shad, they'd be pretty scattered. Most of the fish, been holding the boat in about 18 to 25, so most of the fish have been in that, I'd say probably 8 to about 15-foot range. Did have one good one blowing up on shad that I caught today, and it was out a little bit deeper. It looked to be a post-spawn female largemouth. Big old head on it, but not a whole lot of weight left to it, so I think it was a post-spawn fish, but good fish nonetheless, and that was on a Kitech. Caught a few on a shaky head. I know guys are catching them on a shaky head and a Ned and a tube down here as well, so keep that in mind. If you go into some of the dirtier water, you can catch them on a spinnerbait, you can catch them on a chatterbait around some of the flooded cover, whether it be laydowns or there's a few bushes in the water, not a lot, but there are a few bushes in the water, so a lot of that going on as well. Going to Kimberling City area, same sort of deals going on there. Best bite seems to still be on a Kitech, unless you're going to go sight fishing. There is quite a bit of moss in the Kimberling City area, so it does make the beds a lot easier to find if you're going to be sight fishing. So if you want to sight fish, Kimberling City's definitely got fish on beds, some better ones as well. You can catch them on a Kitech if you don't want to sight fish. 2.8 on a 1/4 ounce head, keeping the boat around 20, 25 foot, casting on gravel banks. And then some of the creeks have got some dirty water in them. Most of them are pretty clear, so you really don't get that spinnerbait, chatterbait bite that we've got like up Long Creek or up some of the other creek arms. So that's not really been a super viable pattern there in the Kimberling City area. Another pattern that's been working a little bit has been a floating worm around some of these beds. You know, the fish, even if they're not locked on, if you toss a floating worm around a bed, especially from a good distance, you can usually pick up a fish or two, just kind of going down the bank, scoping out beds and throwing a floating worm around those beds. You can usually catch them with either a pink or a methyolate or something like that. Go up in the James. James does have some color, and there's more color coming in. I drove over the James this morning on my way to the lake, and there's a lot of dirty water coming in from the James from up around Springfield. You definitely want to have a spinnerbait, chatterbait tied on right now if you're going to go up the James. Is some moss up there. I have not been above 0.12 in a couple of weeks, so I can't tell you how bad the moss is, but I know it's got color up there, so spinnerbait, chatterbait. Fish are going to be on beds up there as well. They're going to be harder to see, so just look for the cover that they're going to spawn up against and kind of make blind pitches at them, but you should be able to catch some sight fishing up there as well. If you don't have the moss, just a little spider jig should be working around the boat docks. Caught a few last time I was up there last week in Ann's Creek around the boat docks. There was some moss, but if you got out to that 8 to about 12 foot range, didn't have the moss, and we did manage to catch a few on a spider jig up there as well. White River, I spent the bulk of my week last week up the White River, and it is dirty from the mouth of the Kings down to about Campbell Point. Then it clears up. You get above the Kings, it clears up. You get below the Kings, it clears up. So you definitely have some clear water opportunities there to throw a swim bait. Kitech 2.8 on a 1/4 ounce head. Same pattern we're doing down here, mostly on just pea gravel, keeping the boat 18 to 25, casting towards the bank, slow reeling it, keeping it up off the bottom because there is quite a bit of moss up there. The chatterbait, spinnerbait deal is working up there as well, especially when you get into that dirty water later in the day when it warms up, or if it doesn't get too cold. Those fish are around just about any piece of wood cover up there. Don't know if they're spawners or what they are, but had a couple of really good fish yesterday doing that. So keep that in mind with either a chatterbait or a spinnerbait. Floating worm deal will work up there as well, and so will the sight fishing deal. You get in that clear water. We went into one pocket yesterday, and I think I counted about 30 beds, but at least 20 of them had fish on them. And of those 20, I'd say 6 or 8 were pretty well locked on. That, you know, if we would have spent 20, 30 minutes, maybe a little bit more, working those fish, we probably could have caught them. So keep that in mind if you're fishing this weekend. Guys, it is almost May, and this morning it felt like March. We're still a couple weeks behind. Don't know what else to tell you. Most of these fish should have already spawned, but there are some that have spawned. But the biggest wave of them is going up right now and starting to get on the beds. So best way to stay on top of that, though, best way to know what's going on before you even come to the lake, become a pro member of Table Rock Fishing Intel, and we're gonna hit you with all different reports pretty much every day of the week. If we've got a guide on the water, he's going to shoot us a report and let us know how it's going. So best way to stay on top of it, join Table Rock Fishing Intel, become a pro member, and get all that information so you can know before you go to the lake. If you're coming down, want to hire a guide, though, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743, or hit my website, focusfishing.com, and either shoot me an email or book online. Either way, I get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching the videos. Again, check out Table Rock Fishing Intel if you haven't done so. Thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.